Hi, today we'll be talking about anemia and everything around it. Anemia is a condition in which the blood doesn't have enough healthy red blood cells and hemoglobin, which is a protein found in the red blood cells, to carry the oxygen all through the body. And there are many forms of anemia. Each form has its own cause. They can range from mild to severe, short-term to long-term, and sometimes even have no side effects. So some of the symptoms, side effects of having anemia are extreme tiredness, weakness, shortness of breath, dizziness, fast heart rate and palpitations, headaches, and kind of very more obscure side effects or symptoms like craving ice or even like paper and sand kind of things that really you shouldn't be having cravings for. But one of the major cravings that I always experience with having anemia is craving meat, but that is because of the specific kind of anemia I have, so we'll get into that. But that is also a side effect. And pale skin, cold hands and feet, cracks around the corners of your mouth, and your tongue being sore, kind of painful. And I have an iron deficiency anemia. So there are a bunch of kinds, but for now we're just talking about iron deficiency. And it's when you have too few healthy red blood cells due to little iron in the body. Some of the treatments are taking iron supplements, which is what I do, or if it's very extreme to the point of having blood transfusions. And then the most common causes of developing this, along with genetics, is bleeding into your intestinal, that word, but bleeding into your urinary tract, blood loss due to injury or surgery, heavy menstrual periods, frequent blood donations, and frequent blood tests are very, might cause some issues, but also from not getting enough iron in your food. And you also may just have a condition that limits the amount of iron your body produces. So, conditions such as if you have a intestinal and digestive condition like celiac disease, which my mom has, but autoimmune gastritis or inflammatory bowel disease like ulcerative colitis, I'm so sorry, I butchered the fuck out of that word, and Crohn's disease, and so on. So there's a lot of causes for anemia. It is very common, but yeah, that's just like the very basics of anemia. Again, I get this all from Google, so if you know more information or other things, please tell me, please talk in the comments. But as for my iron deficiency, I've always had it. It is genetic. My mom has it way worse than I do. But other than genetically just having it, I've had a lot of reasons to, like a lot of blood loss during surgeries. When I died, a lot of blood loss. Another surgery where I had so much blood loss I had to have a transfusion, which my body rejected and freaked out. So blood has always been an issue for me. I try my best to maintain it, keep up with it, but it's a bitch for sure. I have all these side effects. I always am lightheaded if I do not keep up on my iron. It gets very bad, and oh my gosh, a couple months ago I was like, I feel absolutely horrible. I think my iron's low. I went to my mom, I'm like, hey, these iron pills aren't working. She's like, Caitlin, that is vitamin D. And I'm like, what? So I had been taking it for like fucking 2 months, and I was like, I was absolutely bedridden. Like my heart palpitations were off the charts. Like I almost had to go to the hospital. Like it was very, very bad. And then it took me about 2 weeks to finally start regulating again once I finally got back on iron. So those 2 months without it were a mistake. Very, very bad accident. So I will probably always need to be taking it. I think my body just doesn't produce it enough, but it's also a lot of factors, and I also kind of suck at eating. I have very bad relationships with food. I just have a lot of pain, so my appetite is never here. I love food, but like I don't get hungry, so I tend to forget to eat, and also just eating is a very painful experience most of the time. When you have chronic pain, either you like dive into food, or you can like become sick from food because you're in so much pain. Everyone has different coping mechanisms, but for me, when I'm in a lot of pain, I can't eat whatsoever. Makes it challenging, so I don't get as much iron and stuff that I need because I'm not constantly intaking it. With that, I crave meat constantly. Not only that I crave it, I fucking love it. It is like one of the most confusing things about me because I love animals more than anything. Like, you have no idea. And like, 2 years ago, a deer jumped in front of me, a baby deer, while I was driving, and it mentally absolutely wrecked me to the point of I'm now getting a deer tattoo in its honor to honor it, because I carry that weight with me, and I feel like that's, you know, something I can do to like honor its life. So like killing anything, oh my gosh. But it does it's like weird when I like love meat, but I do have insane cravings for it because my body is craving the iron from the meat. Also, for years, craved ice to the point I would go through like a Walmart-sized fucking bag of ice within a week. Don't tell my dentist that, but you know, like, I've been through my stages with my anemia. I definitely have the cold hands and pale skin. So I'm supposed to be olive, but I am pale as shit because I have no blood in my body. Now I've been kind of upkeeping a little bit better, but if I, again, like go like 2 months or something without any iron, I literally look like I'm disintegrating. Like, I look like Casper. All the side effects, absolutely, especially the fatigue and just lightheaded, and like, you stand up, your ass going right back down. You're passing out. You're not getting up quickly. I'm not a fan of anemia. I will always think my conditions are fascinating, but it's a pain. It's a pain for sure. I do hope that maybe I could get to a point where I don't need to take iron supplements as much as I do. Like, maybe my diet has enough iron in it, or just blood stays in my body for longer than 6 months. Preferably, but it might be something I will have to experience the rest of my life. I don't really know. See, it's hard because I have a heart condition. Obviously, I have multiple. So if I don't keep up on my blood, a normal person would get the heart palpitations and like heart pains in general. But on top of that, I have my murmur and my valve that are fucked up. So when I don't have the iron, it is triple times worse because my heart's already struggling to push blood through because it's tripping on itself. When there's no blood to push through, it's very bad. Very dangerous. It is very bad for my heart. It is very painful. So I am more at risk to maybe, you know, heart having a little hissy fit, if you know what I mean. But it's something that luckily I've mostly maintained. I don't know how it's going to develop over the years. I know my heart's going to deteriorate, but like, I don't know how the anemia is going to play a factor into that. So we'll talk about my heart. The anemia is kind of a serious thing, I guess. But other than that, it is not that bad. Like, this might kill me-ish, might affect my death. That's fine. Most things do. Let me cope with how I need to cope. Yeah, I hope this was informative and entertaining and I guess connecting. Part of the reason I want to talk about all these conditions is, one, to shed light on it, and if you might have it and then you learn about it, you can maybe like if you feel like shit, like maybe that's why I feel like shit, you know, happy to spread information and then just shine light on things. But I feel like, at least for me, the medical world is very lonely. So you can Google something and be like, okay, that's what I have. You can hear a doctor tell you that, and you're like, okay, cool. Well, that's a problem I gotta deal with. But I feel like it's way harder to find other people with the same medical issues. It's a lot easier now because of the internet and stuff. At least when I was a kid, it was you're on your own, unless you go to like groups. But those are sometimes ass. So I always want to just kind of like put out the like, we're in this together vibe. Like, have people that don't know about it learn about it if they want to, but also people that do have it can just relate and be like, yeah, I have it too, this shit sucks, this is funny, oh well. Community, I guess that's what I aim for. So I hope it's funny and relatable, you know. Yeah, thank you so much for listening, watching. Till next time.